Reddit, what was the scandal at your high school? Our janitor opened one of the lockers, cause it smelled bad, and found a dead baby inside. It turned out that one of the students was pregnant, gave birth in the bathroom and hid the baby in her locker. It was tragic, cause nobody knew the girl was pregnant and she ended up in the mental institution. There was this girl that was part of the Civil War Club and the Model Train Club, and they were both run by her history teacher, Mr. B. One time Mr. B took the Civil War Club to a reenactment where they camped out overnight, and a few kids said they saw the girl sneak into his tent. Cut to next year and it was just a rumor by them. Girl graduates and then tells everyone that she's engaged to Mr. B and is 4 months pregnant with his kid. Good times. During one of the lunch periods, a freshman decided to give a fellow classmate a BJ under a round table, sits about 10, in the middle of the cafeteria. Their friends were sitting at the table, egging them on as well. The police and national media were involved. One of the students sitting at the table was charged for videotaping the incident. It was a pretty big mess. Edit, go Eagles. We had glow stick girl. She sent a photo to someone of her masturbating with a glow stick. Everyone in our school got the photo, as did the other schools in town. Another school had spatula girl. So when our basketball teams played each other, we took a giant spatula to the games. They brought glow sticks and we would yell at each other. The school had no idea as to why we would do this, but neither objected. Edit, the school did know about the rivalry and the spatula ended up being thrown out of the game. I had forgotten about it and thankfully another Redditor from my high school reminded me. Girl had a miscarriage in the girls' bathroom. She tried flushing it but it ended up clogged. Blood and guts splattered across the floor. She was escorted out by EMTs. Pure trauma. A guy in upper 6th, 17/18, tried to ask a year 7, 11/12, on a date. School was not easy for him after that. For Americans, that's a senior asking out 6th grader. Lunch lady laundered $20,000. Guy in my class got about a dozen girls to give him nude pics. He then sent them to everybody else, which caused him to get slapped with felony child pornography charges. Police came to school and searched a ton of phones, but most people were smart and left them at home that day. When they eventually searched the original guy's phone, not only did they find pictures of the girls, but also videos he took of himself jerking off on his family's cat and his family members' toothbrushes. Guy was extremely ducked up. Here is the link to the news video that came out about it. A student ran away with the theater teacher. This was a Christian school, and they were both chicks. Hot. Girl I was dating from another school stood me up for her homecoming, but was actually caught at that homecoming getting double teamed in the locker room. Other people at my school heard about it before I did. A rumor was started that a certain girl, I'll call her Ann Smith, was sleeping with everyone. It wasn't true, and everyone knew it. Nobody cared. It was fun to have someone to pick on. Eventually the rumor became that she was pregnant, and denied it, which meant she was in denial. The fictional pregnancy became a fictional abortion, which transmuted into a fictional infanticide. The baby was buried in the park, football field, and or flushed down the toilet. It got to the point where girls who slept around weren't called sleuths. They were called Ann Smiths. None of rumors were true, and everyone knew. Coming up with new rumors about Ann became the school's favorite pastime. She tried very hard to not let this affect her. She brushed the rumors off with a laugh. That only made things worse. She eventually had to transfer schools. It's weird how arbitrary this was. The girl wasn't unpopular. She wasn't mean. She was a nice young lady, and the school decided to make her life hell for no reason. It makes think of the lottery. Our science teacher was caught ducking the drama teacher in the copy room. He was married and his son was a classmate of mine. Very awkward. Year later he divorced my classmate's mom and had a child with the drama teacher. My classmate's mom died not long after that, not sure when exactly, due to cancer. My so's father taught at an inner city public school in the early aughts. And, as you might expect, there was often a lot of poorly behaved kids with home issues. Well, one morning he and several of his colleagues were pulled into the principal's office for a meeting. As it turned out, one of their students' parents had called in to let them know that their son had passed away. In the coming days there were several memos and such detailing the memorial service. Shortly thereafter, maybe a week, the administration realized that this particular student's parents believed their son had been attending school as usual. The kid had called himself in dead. What a legend. Edit, I've been guilt, no take backsies. Someone put gear oil in the machine shop teacher's coffee. Damn near killed him. Who the duck does that? We never found out. I was in the electronics shop. And this went on during junior year. Had a couple friends in manufacturing. They said they thought one of the seniors did it. But the guy never came clean. So the entire shop was in trouble. Not even the freshmen and sophomores weren't punished. Or the people out on work-based learning. It was a huge thing that never got solved. Our ed teacher was fired for having indecent pictures of children on his home file. This was the 90s. But my school was loaded and we didn't just have computers everywhere but some pretty savvy ed technicians, network admins running the gig as well. They were like hawks. We got our profiles banned for the slightest infractions and our home files were routinely checked for forbidden files, which could be something as innocent as a Simpsons clip. I lost count of the amount of times I had to go to their office to get myself unbanned. Yet our ed teacher kept child porn on this network. He clearly wasn't the brightest spark. It made sense though. He used to have nicknames for all of us. Bear in mind we were 11-12 years old at the time. All the boys were referred to as sausage and the girls were either flower or petal. As kids we just thought he was a bit weird and didn't read into it. In hindsight though, that sheet was creepy. 3 years ago, 2 kids, boy and girl, were in separate classes and both asked for a bathroom pass from their teachers. They met up in the school bathroom and started ducking. After a while, one teacher got a bit annoyed that their student was taking so long. Sent another student to go check if they actually went to said bathroom. Messenger student went in, heard what was happening, and reported back the exact details of everything that was going on loudly to teacher and entire class. That one teacher got the Golden Brick, our school's Darwin Award equivalent, that year. Edit, me being an idiot with poor word choice and accidentally offending you guys. Quite sorry about that. Definitely not intended. Way too late for this, but there was a les freshman couple. One of them cheated on the other. So the spurned partner cheated back by having sex with her partner's brother. Long story short, she ended up having the brother's baby. And the 2 girls got back together. Last I heard, they were raising the baby together. For decades, guys at my high school would break into the University of Washington locker rooms and steal equipment. We're talking jerseys, basketball and football, shorts, cleats, gonads, shoulder pads, you name it. This went on for years. They would wear this stuff to school, during practice, games, etc. Some dipit wore a stolen item to an actual UW sporting event in 1999. And someone ratted on him, it had been reported stolen. Eventually, an investigation uncovered something like $15,000 in stolen merchandise. And that was just what the police knew about. Their punishment was to forfeit 2 games. Most players quit the team. They finished the season with a roster of 24 people, with almost everyone playing both offense and defense. The funny thing is, 15 plus years later, I still see people wearing the stolen jerseys and shorts. They stick out because they are jerseys of random players, and were never sold to the public. These 2 girls started a Twitter account exposing and calling out random people, posting pictures of whatever the duck was going around at the time. We're talking about when insert name here cheats on her boy insert name here and then a picture. Or when insert name here ducks two guys at once at her house with her mom sleeping in the room next. Like what the duck is wrong with people? This sheet was online bullying, online harassment and such. Police got involved. Next thing you know this caught on and other schools started doing it. Oh, and teachers got onto it too. Like they started reading the tweets. Someone made an account just for the teachers too. And because our city isn't the biggest city ever, most popular or even semi-popular kids knew kids from other schools ever across the city. And we had a city-wide target spree of sheet getting out. Kid named Trey, may or may not be his real name, had one of our administrative people house sitting while his parents were out of town. Her name is Candy. Now, Candy is not your typical school administrator. She's like 45. But in really good shape and has had a decent amount of work done. Face. Tits. etc. She's not hot. But she's hot for a middle-aged woman working at an all-boys high school. It's not even fair at that point. There's so little competition. And she's hot in that whole may or may not be doing lots of hard Drew Gus white trash kind of way. Anyway, Trey decides to throw a house party. Candy agrees probably because she wants to seem cool. A bunch of high schoolers show up. Everyone is drunk. And there are even some people from our rival high school there. After a significant amount of alcohol, Trey and Candy have sex. Candy at some point also has sex with another boy from the rival high school. At school over the next few weeks, more and more people learn of Trey and Candy's match made in hormonal, self-conscious, desperate hell, being obnoxious teenage boys. Kids start singing I Want Candy by Bow Wow Wow whenever Trey enters a classroom. Hilarious at first. Teachers soon catch on that there may be a meaning and become suspicious. After it happens one too many times, a teacher pulls one of the weaker kids into a room and basically interrogates and threatens this kid with demerits if he doesn't rat. The kid rats. Candy was not at school the next year. Last I heard, she was texting kids from the high school looking for drug hookups. Solid recovery. Candy. We used to be able to come in late for exams. Until one 7th grader, 13, suck another one's big dig and now we have to come in on time. It was a big deal a few years ago but I think I'm the only one who remembers now. And the ex-principal ducked the 6th grade history teacher. Our school is K-12 with K-6 on one side of the cafeteria and 7-12 on the other. Edit, apparently other people remember the first one. Because someone messaged me who apparently goes to my school. Deletes Reddit. There was a rumor that theater kids would all have sex in the woman's bathroom in the theater. Turned out it was true when a teacher walked in on a couple going at it on the sink. They ended up locking the theater bathrooms during the day and only opened them for performances. It wasn't super scandalous. But it sucked because those bathrooms were nicer and quieter than the other ones. Boy oh boy. Our school was on the news every month. We had multiple student-teacher sexual relationship scandals. We had a teacher get extradited for some assault. We had a bomb threat one year. Another year some kid brought a mixture of bleach and ammonia to school. Made some kids smell it and then spilled it all over and got half the school shut down for the day. Our school was on ESPN for weeks following an embarrassing blunder at our rivalry football game. My favorite scandal was when some kid took up skirt photos of the 90-year-old stats teacher. A wrestling coach allegedly murdered a cheerleader from another school and dismembered her body. Put it into a garbage bag and hid it on his property. Upon being arrested and interrogated, he hanged himself with his belt in the room when the detective stepped out. His children were classmates with me. Ducked up. We had a coal furnace at my school. And one guy decided pouring synthetic fox piss in one of the radiators was a good idea. The scent of fox piss took over the entire school to the point our principal was yelling at us to literally run to our classrooms and people were gagging and puking. The school tried to combat the smell by pouring fabric softener in the radiators. But that just resulted in the hallways smelling like downy fox piss until they remodeled 6 years later. We had a charity thing in high school where you'd raise money for cancer. The amount being raised was shown on a thermometer and every limit would force a teacher to shave their head. On the very top was this French teacher. Anyways, the initiative was due to finish after lunch recess. A bunch of people are in gym shaving their heads and trying to raise money. Bills are flying down from the bleachers and we raised just enough money right at the bell. The French teacher was knocked down and ran away, causing all the students to chase her into the bathroom, banging on the door and sheet. She soon after had a bit of a mental breakdown. Someone at school found out her love life profile and she left. Also, some students stole all the money raised in the initiative from the gym. I go to a school that's high school and middle school combined. Last year, this one senior girl was charged with sending nudes to a bunch of middle school guys. She was arrested and kicked out of school. But last I heard she wasn't in jail or anything. Trial could still be going on. So in 8th grade we always got to take this cool field trip to an aquarium about 2 hours away. They rented Greyhound buses and sheet because it was the big trip for the people graduating from middle school. Part of the field trip was a river tour on this big 3-story boat. Well, this kid said he'd jump off the top of the boat for $300. No one had $300. But there were enough people there that we rounded up $300 in cash in less than an hour. He jumped off the boat. Police got involved. And now our school is banned from the riverboat tours. Also, the school's stopping doing the field trip altogether. In my first year of high school we had someone write Massacre the 26th of October on one of the stalls in the boys' washroom. For a lot of people it was a big deal. We were told if we wanted to we could stay home that day. I ended up going that day. Surprise. No massacre. It was a slack day of just goofing off and it was pretty fun. It wasn't until weeks later that we found out there was a metal concert that day and it was called the Massacre. So it turned out to be a big joke we just forgot about. Damn, all these stories, and probably the worst that happened at mine while I've been here was someone finding a used condom in the practice rooms. Although, some guys in my grade at my last high school were caught up skirting a whole bunch of teachers and weren't even expelled, not even sure if they got suspended. Knew the guys. Would not have expected it from some of them. There was this girl, known for being slightly off and giving a whole grade level lice. Let's call her Cindy. Cindy had unkempt hair, was quite round, and overall, weird. Among other unique quirks, she had an overwhelming fear of fire alarms, so whenever there was a drill scheduled she would get to leave class early and go to who knows where. One day another student, prompted by poor eavesdropping, asked when the fire drill was scheduled for that day. There was no drill. Overhearing this, Cindy has a huge outburst, tumbles out of her desk, and proceeds sprint out of the room. Worried, the teacher follows after her. A hum of chatter breaks out over the room. Naturally. And moments later there is a rumbling that echoes throughout the classroom. The teacher then bursts into the room just moments later. Half of her body still in the hallway with one arm dramatically holding the door open. And informs us, via wail, that Cindy had fallen down 3 flights of stairs. Our assistant principal was ducking one of the students. Apparently her parents knew and didn't care. So the only thing that happened was he was reassigned elsewhere in the district. Rumor has it, on the girl's 18th birthday, he served his wife with divorce papers and they eventually got married. And about 10 years later or so, they got divorced. I bet he traded her in for a newer model again.